Today is day lucky 13. Last episode you saw us installing some custom steps, and finally the bed was taking place with some top panels being installed. But today we're permanently mounting some skirting on the bed, and we're gonna start getting ready for priming and painting. I'm Greg from RVHaulers and the RVHaulers store, and today is day 13. And if you've never joined us before, what we're doing is we're taking you through every single day and all of the tips and tricks, and today some secrets of how to build your own RV hauler. We're trying to give you all the tools and tasks, and today we're getting our bed, the final boxes installed. We're doing a little bit of skirting work, just kind of closing the bed in and getting ready for paint. So today I would call final bed assembly and paint preparation. If you'd like to see some of the tasks involved in getting this guy ready for paint, join us in this video. If you're just joining us, this is one of those videos that's long and detailed and has tons of information. If you're curious, what's happening with this bed or with this build is we're taking this 2019 Mack Anthem, beautiful truck, and we're converting it to pull not only the largest of fifth wheels, but we're going to be putting a Japanese K-truck up here, a Daihatsu Jumbo. Really cool. It's even gonna get paint matched to this truck. We haven't seen it yet, but it's coming. We're building what we call our Never Rust can bed. So this material, there's no steel in this substructure. It's all carbon fiber, light, stronger than aluminum, lighter than aluminum. And you're kind of seeing a little bit of the behind the scenes work here where the guys are just getting the boxes mounted up, and we've started to do a little bit of the skirting work here where we've created some steps for going up onto the bed, and we've closed in a little bit here. We've created a portal for getting to the fuel tank. We've also created flexible points here. So we designed this backer plate so that the fuel tank that's there hidden, so we don't really see, it's all going to be black. But by making this so that it's flexible, you can get your whole boot on there. And when you take your boot away, you get full kind of coverage. Other thing we're getting you caught up on is all of the boogie lights have been installed. So we've got some grill components and whatnot taken out of this truck because they're going to go get flat blacked. So there's going to be almost no chrome on this truck. The wheels black. We've got all the underglow installed underneath the cab and in the air intakes. But what we've also finished is the whole underglow on the frame, front to back, is complete as well. That's all controlled with either a boogie lights. It also has little push button controllers. We got the bags on them because we don't want them to get dusty. So there's the boogie light controllers, getting power from our CAN board system. So because we've got so many lights in this build, we had to go with 2 controllers just because there's too much power draw. All right, some of the other things that I want to show you that we've finished off is all of the tracking has been bolted down. So the goal is not only to have the tracking for the K-truck and wheel chocks that are going to be going here, but we also wanted to have the tracking running lengthwise so that they could tie down anything else. So if we wanted to put quads or motorcycles or anything up on this bed, we had the flexibility to put in D-rings and tie down other toys as well in the future. And here's a little bit of a sneak peek of what the plan is. So remember, this is the RV hauler named Chuggs. We name everything. The K-truck looks very similar to this. This is the Daihatsu Jumbo. It's got a little bit of a longer cab on it. It's coming, we're gonna get some panels that block in this lower section. And the plan is we're going to be bed lining the bottom of the truck to match Chuggs's gray coloration. So the color of the Daihatsu is gonna be that gray. And the top of the Daihatsu from here up is going to be a flat black. So we're hoping to see that arrive here, get through customs and arrive in our shop pretty soon. And we'll be doing some body work on there. So speaking of tools and tricks, what you see the guys using to lift that box up into place is just a floor jack. So each of these boxes is modular. It just by undoing some nuts and some underneath the boxes, they drop out. So it's great to be able to do servicing underneath the truck, or if accidentally in the future, say you ding one of these doors or you have somebody drive by and scratch it, you're not having to take the whole truck to get work done in a big giant paint booth. You can just take off what's been damaged, get it fixed, you know, take it in your pickup or put it on top of the bed. And what you're seeing here is the box has been lifted up with the floor jack. And there are these big long pieces of the FRP. You just saw it snapped up into place. And everything is hot dip galvanized bolts, so no rusting, but big washers and some nuts. So there's 4 bolts across the front to get nuts, and there's 4 bolts across the back. So in these bigger boxes, it's a total of 8 bolts. But what we have on the inside of the boxes is these big, thick 1 centimeter plates that act like a massive washer. So we support the weight of that box from the top, but also we disperse the weight with this big plate, if you will, on the inside. And again, all of this is modular and it's all available on the store, but here's one of the little wheel opening skirts. So we've got them for the front, we've got them for the back. Those are going to be put in place here shortly. I'm losing my train of thought. I'll come back to you in a minute, hang on. As I mentioned that the whole truck is being blacked out. That includes the handles. So what Austin's doing is we're taking each of these out. We're going to just gently sandblast these and they'll be painted flat black. Sorry about the noise. Work has to continue. So there's that support bar, 2 of which go up underneath. But what we like to do just as an added bonus is take a bit of silicone and we'll put a little bead just around each hole. It creates an additional weather seal. Everything is weather sealed on the inside where the box is mounted up to the bolts, but we put a second one on the inside, just redundant. But really guys, it's not so much that later on if you need to pull this down, you still can't, right? You can put a little pry bar under there and give it a little pop and they come down. You also like to put a little daub of thread locker on each nut. So something to be aware of with these hot dip galvanized bolts is they're not nylock nuts, right? You can't build a hot dip galvanized nylock nut. So we are using lock washers, but we also find, just for an added little safety measure, 1 little drop of blue thread locker. Make sure that they're not going to vibrate loose. You know, with our goal is 1,000,000 miles of vibrations and things happening or being exerted on all these boxes. You can still break them loose, right? You can still knock them off if you have to.
Ready?
Ready, Freddy.
All right.
5, 6 bolts. 7 bolts. I love to count. Anybody know where that's from?
This is our unique little jig that we built for putting boxes in.
Yeah, or just a standard floor jack does work.
Yeah.
Yeah. Just by making it a little bigger. You put at least a 2x6 or something on your floor jack and it'll do the same thing. So because we pulled all these handles out, we're gonna be flat black and we just need to tape them up. The guys are gonna continue building skirting and then getting ready for paint prep. So a little tip and trick here for generating curves in skirting. So if you ever find yourself having to make a transition from, one corner to another, this is our patented, what are we gonna call this? I should have a name for the patent, Austin.
It's the Curve Maker 3000.
Curve Maker 3000, also known as 1/4" Sinflex line. Let me show you how this works. It's pretty cool. Okay, Curve Maker 3000. We gotta patent this in China too, because I'm sure they're gonna copy it. So here's what you're faced with, right? You got a create a piece of skirting that goes from that corner to that corner. And what's cool about this Synflex is it always creates kind of the same curve, right? So we'll use it and use it to trace the line, but also do a little mock-up. Patent pending. That's what they say on like the boxes of things that you buy.
Oh, okay.
Curve Maker 3000. We just had a conversation, and I should have had the camera running because there's all kind of wisdom over these two shoulders that I wanted to share with you when it comes to planning the painting now. So the guys are starting to prep the truck for paint, and what we're going to be doing for this truck is we're doing a flat black bed liner from this crease on the hood down. And also, so the bed liner is going to come here, and these are going to be bed lined. This is staying original paint. That fender is going to be bed lined, that lower skirt, sorry. And then the whole bed in this, the whole bed side is going to be flat black. But here's a few things to think about, is if you leave that piece of skirting on the truck, what happens is you got to get like way, yeah, Austin was saying, you know, you really can't paint all the way back in here.
I can't paint in here.
Or in there, those angles. And the other thing that we want to do is this we want to do bed lined, but also that surface in there, right? This one needs to get bed lined. Pardon me. So, and you've got edges like this. So there's a lot of times where doing it right means taking it apart. The other advantage to having these skirts off, lower skirts, is we're going to be able to drape the entire truck with plastic up underneath and even cover the fuel tank back there because we don't want to have any spray heading in that direction. So taking a little bit of time with guys like this that have done a lot of painting and a lot of bed liner and know about all these nooks and crannies and challenges, we wanted to share that with you. The other thing that I was going to talk about, actually I didn't talk to you guys about this at all. I was thinking about this, is all these parts. So we're going to be, the customers were here yesterday and they looked at these vertical bars. They're pretty pummeled, as you can see from road chips, so they want to get those bed lined as well. So we'll take those off, and I think what we're going to do is just to keep the same coloration, these air intakes and the grill, we should bed line it too. Then it'll be really tough, right? Resistant to rock chips up here. What do you guys think?
I've thought that all along, yeah.
You're thinking that all along? Okay. So it's going to take some disassembly. We want to get, you know, these handles off. Certainly we're putting our can steps on here. So those aluminum treads are going to come off. But what'll happen is we'll shoot the whole truck with the bed liner, excluding the steps and the lower fairing. Then we'll bring in all the loose pieces, including the can drum, and we'll shoot all of those with bed liner, second phase. Do we have a plan?
That's the plan.
Got a plan.
Break. Okay. Okay. Do you want to see the sexy curves? We really need to get out more. There we go. That looks good.
Yeah.
That looks sweet.
Yeah.
That's great.
Yeah.
Oh, we got to see Rob's sexy curves over there. This is a harassment-free workplace. What are you thinking? This is work-related. I'm gonna get in so much trouble. Hey, Rob, do you wanna show off your sexy curves? He's ignoring me. You wanna put it in and just show what you created? Yeah, that looks good. So it kind of comes up to this point here.
No, you just do your thing.
That looks good. Thanks. Okay, let's talk about these lower fairings for a second. These things are notorious for two things. In the case of Volvos and some of the other manufacturers, they have a plastic clip. Where did I put them? Oh, they have these plastic clips that are back there that grab a hold of the fairing. And these things break all the time, right? This fairing is down there vibrating and wiggling away for hundreds of thousands of miles. These things break. So we actually keep these in stock because in the case of Volvos in particular, these things come loose. The other thing that happens in the case of, like Dan has been experimenting here with the Mack ones, is they're held on with bolts. And as you can see, they're engineered to snap off. No, they're not.
It's just for me.
So luckily the other side worked.
Yeah, the other side was great.
But this one,
Depends on where your vehicle's from too. If it's a
Yeah.
coastal vehicle
or
you're gonna get a little
Texas,
bit-
Arizona will probably
yeah,
be better.
You'll get more
Okay.
salt in the air, which gets to all the good stuff. So
Okay, so the penetrant has been put on there.
just gonna try to wiggle it loose here.
Remember, harassment-free workplace.
It's like a loose tooth, but it's still in there. I gotta do some dentistry, I guess. Okay.
No, is it spinning?
Yeah, a little bit. It's coming a little bit loose.
And please, not WD-40. WD-40, I'm going to say it, is CRAP.
WD-40 is a water
Yeah,
displacer.
it's
was
not.
originally designed as a water displacer for rocket fuel. It was the 40th try and it worked.
Oh.
The guy's wife decided to try it on a few different things because it was just sitting there.
Yeah, okay. Anyways, I don't like the stuff.
So
I like buying good stuff.
if none of your stuff works, you're gonna have to drill new holes in it.
Well, drill and tap, or we could try heat, but I don't want to do that next to the tanks either.
No, it's gas.
Or we just let that penetrant sit for a couple days and see if it'll 3-in-1. 3-in-1. This is, but you have to be able to speak French in order to be able to use this. Wah, oui, oui.
Try that.
Oh,
Huh, I'm having the same problem with this.
that
here.
Always
that
Let me
was
help
a-
you out too.
no, I think the French version works better if you hold it this way. This is silicone.
In this room, it's silicone.
Nah, it didn't work. So drill out. We're gonna retap. Dan actually got a good idea. At this point, we were gonna try, since he has a pilot hole drilled, he was gonna try one of the easy outs. And it's not working either. We gotta go all the way, I think. I'm gonna squirrel for a little moment and point out something else that we often observe with these trucks is that they have the load lights on the outside of those fairings. So when you are considering that you're loading something here on the bed, right? We're working with wheel chocks and tie downs. Those lights many times don't really aim onto the deck surface. So what we're also gonna do is we got some 7-inch flood lights. So not spot beam, but they're a wide beam pattern. And we're gonna put those up on the inside. There's some brackets right there, some bracketry, and we'll be able to attach them. And we're gonna leave the ones on the outside as well. So we're gonna get a nice wide beam of light out this side of the truck, but we'll also have enough illumination on the deck surface too.
I didn't expect that. You know how hot that got.
In preparation for priming and painting, what you see Austin doing here is just a little bit of a light scuff of the can bed material. So you gotta think of this, even though it's carbon fiber, it's like fiberglass too. So you don't want to sand it too much because it'll expose all of those carbon fiber or glass fibers, and primer doesn't like to stick to it. So he's going pretty gentle, pretty moderate. It's mostly just a scuff. We will build this up. You can put on regular, would you actually show us? Yeah. So a lot of times you can use like a polyester, a finishing putty it's called.
Or smaller.
Or, thank you Austin, for smaller stuff, you can use a putty like this as well. Oh, it's quiet now. So what we do is we always scuff all of those body pieces, all of the skirting before we put the bolts in, because that way Everything around the bolt heads is finished flush. Right, if you try to sand it right now, you would have to get up around all these washers, and you would also compromise some of the hot dip galvanizing. So just do it ahead of time. You can see how that one was done already.
So this stuff has a sharp edge on it. If you don't sand a little tiny curve of some kind, just any kind of radius, just a small one, paint won't stick to this sharp edge.
Because it probably has little fibers poking out, right?
No, because paint doesn't stick to 90-degree edges.
Words of wisdom.
Yeah. So if you have just that little tiny curve, then the paint will stick to it.
Another very important tool available at your disposal, especially if you're building your own RV hauler, is food. Food works wonders. It increases productivity, well, sort of, except for the nap after having hot dogs. So check with your whatever paint manufacturer you're using. They'll usually spec what grit of sandpaper to use. For what we're applying, it's 220. And what I also want to point out is you do want to get all the nooks and crannies and the edges for proper adhesion. What we also find works really well, these are the 3M abrasive pads. I know this one looks green. We like the green now. We used to use the red Scotch-Brite pads. We found they just weren't quite abrasive enough, and we didn't feel like it was creating enough of an adhesion for the primer. So the green, a little bit rougher, seems to work really well. Okay, Dan just wanted to make sure that I share with you to take the time. You know, he was using the orbital, the air orbital, this guy, to do these faces. But what's also important is to get in there again with that green.
You could use a
3M.
green stubby or
Well, the green works pretty
Green's
good,
great, so
but it gets into all the nooks and crannies, and make sure you hit a little bit those.
so this is what it looks like normally.
Yeah,
And
you
after
didn't
you
get in
stuff
there.
it, you'll see take off a little bit. And
So it just rough. Yeah, Dan, you probably can't hear Dan because he's muffled. And I got my microphone here, of course. But
The paint will stick better to the bolts when they are sanded off.
thank you. Yeah.
Also,
So rubber. What else, Austin?
so if you are doing an edge, like all our FRP edges, we sand them down to a small radius because paint doesn't stick to 90 degrees.
Okay, and I was also watching. You were getting that
So
guy
I get-
right in all
I
the.
get right into there because the paint's gonna end up in there too. So it'll look a little shiny after the shine's gone.
It's all dull. So
So-
here, I'm going to try to get this in the camera. I'll wipe this off. So here, you can see how shiny there and dull there. Perfect. I just went to, as well, and I picked up our handles. So these have been, right, these are the handles that are going in there, and our goal is to flat black these as well. And what the sandblaster did for us is got rid of all the shiny. Trying to do that by hand takes a lot of time, especially around all these little rivets is what we've never had good success with, getting right in all those edges. It's easier to take it to a sandblaster, have him or her do a brush blast, just hit it from all angles. They're not ripping it down, they're just creating a nice rough surface. But they're ready for blacking as well. There, lights are done. Bam! Time to mask off this truck. Let's get ready for paint. We have some really big protective sheeting. It's 20 feet wide. So it's intentionally made for large objects to drape all the way over the truck. It also has like a static cling to it. It intentionally has one side that's meant to go to the outside to capture any errant paint particles in the air so that they don't last and they don't land and turn into dust on your paint project. And we're showing another little trick that we figured out, which is to have a nice light string, so nothing really heavy, tie it to a tennis ball, and now that everybody's watching, this is going to go badly, but
You know what it says?
paint, there we go, paint this side.
So that side goes out.
Austin's going to toss that tennis ball, hopefully in one shot, we'll get the truck draped.
Dan, you up there?
Yeah, I wasn't gonna say anything, and when you tossed it over, I was gonna go ouch, but
That would have been funny. Incoming.
Yeah. Nice.
You got it?
Well, my T-Rex arms will slowly get this.
Yeah, it's out in the front by the north decant.
Oh. You didn't put your Crocs into sport mode though.
Okay, slowly. Go ahead. Are you down in front yet?
Yep, I'm just over the sun visor, I guess that would be.
Let me know when you're past the bumper.
Yeah, you got about 240 feet here. Yeah, right there. Pretty well touching the floor, so.
You're touching the floor?
Yeah, I'm right over.
Okay. Gotta grab a ladder.
Yep, you bet. Just keep going.
That'd be my knife, probably.
Thought it was mine. Hello. Oh, I didn't take much. I didn't take enough.
I think there's some spare at the front.
You know what they say, Puppies nerf it.
You're gonna need a lot of tape. Make sure you have more than one roll, because a lot of these little corners and things are gonna require just tape. So Austin is reinforcing all of the corners because we are gonna be tugging it a little bit and making it tight. We don't wanna have this thing all billowy and loose, because when you're painting in locations like in corners like this, we don't want to have loose stuff anywhere near our gun. Everything's got to be secured carefully to the truck.
Anything sharp.
Are we paper in the back?
What did you call them?
Grab handle bolts.
That makes
I'm a
sense.
lefty in my right mind. Ha!
Yeah, lefty. Now you're gonna go. Where are you gonna hide those?
Where they're supposed to be.
We haven't.
With our nice little area where we keep all of our good bolts.
We have an
All our
inventory location. Anything that comes off this truck goes in a specific spot. I told you there would be secrets. Here they are. Let's go find that secret spot. Also known as the shipping container.
All right.
Chuggs.
Everything's labeled and ready to be put back on after.
And the goal is, at the end of the project, these shelves should be empty.
Yes.
If something's left, that's a sign that
Then
we're not done.
We got to go and check some other places to fill those spots in.
I just got big enough to read my card. Oh, it's funny. We went to I'm like, not again.
Another little trick that we have is we have the luxury of having a set of tires that is sacrificial. We call them kind of the work rims. So even though we're going to be covering these, we don't like to leave the good customer wheels on there. We'll put these on because, again, we're not so concerned with covering them perfectly. And if there happen to be a little bit of overspray, we don't care. We have a set, we have that luxury. If you don't have a set, well, mask them really, really good. We covered a ton of topics today, really varied. And those of you that are still watching at this point in the video, wow, thank you. Hey, if you're a subscriber to the channel, I want to say thank you, right? We're a really tiny group here, really tiny company. And hey, we're making these videos for you. So if you don't mind, please give us a thumbs up. It helps other people find our videos. I hope we're doing something right. And what I need from you guys is some direction. Please continue in the comments down below. Tell us the kinds of things you would like to see in future videos like this. What did we maybe gloss over too quickly, or what did we miss or not get into in enough detail? Please, and if you have questions or if you have ideas for other videos, please let us know down below. I get so much feedback from wise people like you that are watching with another set of eyes. And many times too, you might have a suggestion. We're always looking for those. Please, we're trying to create a bit of a community where people will share information here rather than keeping it close to their chest. Give it away. But also, one of my main goals here in these videos is to make people safe. I want them to build safe, reliable, high performance rigs that everybody enjoys. Thanks for watching. I'm gonna call it there. It's only about 3 o'clock. We got a few hours left. We can continue to mask off this truck. I'll come back with you tomorrow and I'll show you a little bit some of those details. But hey everybody, thanks for watching our videos here on RVHaulers. And if you have any questions, post them down below. But everybody, thanks for watching and please continue to drive safe.